Good morning, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. It's Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. This is your AM update.
Last night, we experienced an attack not just on our family, but on the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania here at the governor's residence.
Disturbing new details about the suspect in the arson attack on Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence.
How can I return him to the United States? Like I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do?
President of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, saying he will not return a suspected MS-13 gang member to the U.S. Federal authorities investigate a disturbing plot allegedly by a Wisconsin teen to kill President Trump. And the all-female Blue Origin spaceflight goes off without a hitch and without much time and space. All that and more coming up in just a moment on your AM Update. 1 in 2 adults have high blood pressure. Many don't even know it. That's a ticking time bomb. But here's the good news. You have the power to take control naturally with 120 Life. 120 Life is a blend of great tasting super fruit juices that can actually help lower your blood pressure naturally. 120 Life is formulated with ingredients that have been shown to support healthy blood pressure levels. It's trusted by hundreds of health professionals, and people have seen real measurable results. You can try it yourself risk-free with their 2-week trial. Just go to 120life.com. and use the code MK to save 15% and get free shipping. You can track your progress with a simple blood pressure monitor, watch your numbers drop, and feel the difference. They are so sure that 120 Life can noticeably lower your blood pressure in 2 weeks that they will give you your money back if you're not satisfied. So you have nothing to lose but those high blood pressure numbers. Go to 120life.com. That's 120life.com. And remember to use the code MK to save 15% off your order. This is serious. This is your life we're talking about. 120 Life can help. Take control of your life and your health today. Disturbing new details in the arson attack against Democrat governor from Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro's home. 38-year-old suspect Cody Balmer, turning himself into police, held on state charges including attempted murder, aggravated arson, and terrorism, with the likelihood of federal charges still to come. CNN reporting investigators believe mental health issues may be a factor in this attack. Mr. Balmer admitting to making Molotov cocktails with lawnmower gasoline and beer bottles. The suspect telling police he walked about 1 hour from his home in Harrisburg to the governor's home early Sunday morning. The affidavit alleging security cameras captured Mr. Balmer breaking 2 windows with a hammer, throwing 1 Molotov cocktail through a broken window, and climbing in through the other. Once inside, according to the affidavit, Mr. Balmer tossed a second bottle to further spread the flames. Governor Shapiro and his family were awoken around 2 a.m. by state troopers, alerting them to the fire. Thankfully, there were no injuries. Photos of the aftermath showing extensive damage to the home. The governor speaking out in a Sunday press conference.
Last night, we experienced an attack not just on our family, but on the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania here at the governor's residence. I spoke a couple hours ago with Director Kash Patel of the FBI. He promised all of the resources of the federal government. He was extremely kind and courteous and thoughtful in his conversation with me. And I thanked him and the women and men of the FBI and the President of the United States for their support. Lori and I are overwhelmed by the prayers and the messages of support that we've received from all across Pennsylvania and all across the United States.
Authorities say Mr. Balmer admits to harboring hatred toward Governor Shapiro. The affidavit reading, quote, Balmer was asked specifically what he would have done if Governor Shapiro found him inside of his residence, to which Balmer advised he would have beaten him with his hammer. Mr. Balmer's social media presence suggesting anti-government views against both Democrats and Republicans. NBC reporting in 2022, Mr. Balmer posted an image of a Molotov cocktail with the words, "Be the light you want to see in the world." Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle speaking out against political violence. Former President Biden posting to X, quote, "There is no place for this type of evil in America. And as I told the governor yesterday, we must stand united against hatred and violence." Vice President J.D. Vance posting to X, "Thanks be to God that Governor Shapiro and his family were unharmed in this attack. Really disgusting violence, and I hope whoever did it is brought swiftly to justice." President Trump speaking out from the Oval.
The attacker was not a fan of Trump, I understand, just from what I read and from what I've been told. The attacker basically wasn't a fan of anybody. It's probably just a whack job. And certainly a thing like that cannot be allowed to happen.
Mr. Bomber has a criminal history, in 2015 pleading guilty to forgery and theft, again in 2016 pleading guilty to forgery. Mr. Bomber also expected in court in a matter of days relating to a 2023 assault charge. President of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, visiting the White House today to advance cooperation with the Trump administration in cracking down on foreign gang members illegally living in the U.S. Mr. Bukele agreeing in February to accept deported illegal aliens from the U.S. in exchange for a small fee. Reporters in the Oval pressing administration officials on the status of Kilmar Albrego Garcia, an illegal immigrant from El Salvador, previously found by 2 immigration judges to have ties to MS-13. In 2019, Mr. Garcia was ordered deported, but then convinced an immigration court to protect him from being sent to one country, El Salvador, claiming that he could face gang violence there. The DOJ acknowledging in March Mr. Garcia, who is deportable, the question is to where, was loaded onto a plane destined for El Salvador due to, quote, an administrative error, end quote. Last week, the Supreme Court ruling a lower court may have overstepped its authority by ruling the federal government must facilitate and effectuate Mr. Garcia's return. The DOJ providing daily status updates to the court on Mr. Garcia now, stating he is held in the Terrorism Confinement Center and is in good health. Attorney General Pam Bondi weighing in from the Oval.
That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us. The Supreme Court ruled, President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters, foreign affairs. If they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy Stephen Miller elaborating on the Supreme Court's ruling.
It's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As 2 immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. When President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. A district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised with the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither Secretary of State nor the president could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador.
Mr. Miller going on to say if Mr. Garcia were sent back to the United States, he would be deported a second time. CNN White House correspondent Caitlin Collins asking President Bukele if he has plans to return Mr. Garcia.
How can I return him to the United States? Like I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States. I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country.
Pressed again by Ms. Collins about returning Mr. Garcia, President Trump saying,
and they said that it must be facilitated.
Why don't you just say, isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country?
Mr. Trump then saying the U.S. will work with El Salvador to remove as many illegal aliens from this country as possible. Coming up, federal authorities investigating a Wisconsin teenager for allegedly plotting to kill President Trump. And the details are alarming. And the all-female space crew, including pop star Katy Perry, returns safely to Earth after a trip that took less time than it would to load your dishwasher. As President Trump is settling into his new administration, one of the top Democrats in Congress aiming to undermine the Trump agenda is Democrat Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois. And according to our sponsor, the Electronic Payments Coalition, Senator Durbin has a new plan, a government takeover of your credit card. Today, Americans have thousands of choices in credit cards, but they say Senator Durbin's plan will result in less competition and less security, which means more risk for your credit and your identity. You can learn more for yourself at guardyourcard.org, and you could consider telling your senators to stop Dick Durbin's government takeover of your credit card. before it's too late. Federal authorities investigating a disturbing case out of Wisconsin involving a suspected plot to assassinate President Trump by a 17-year-old named Nikita Kasap. In March, state authorities conducting a wellness check on the home of Tatiana Kasap and Donald Mayer, following a request from Mr. Mayer's mother. Kasap's step-grandmother telling local police she was unable to contact the family and learned from the high school that Kasap had not attended in 2 weeks. Authorities discovering Kasap's mother and stepfather deceased, both bodies badly decomposed with visible bullet wounds, covered in blankets. Kasap nowhere to be found. His stepfather's car and the family dog missing. Waukesha authorities alleging Kasap fatally shot his parents and lived with the bodies for weeks before fleeing with the dog. He was arrested by local authorities in Kansas, discovered with thousands in cash, a smashed home safe, a number of electronic devices, his stepfather's gun, and ammo. Wisconsin state authorities slapping Kasap with a slate of charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of hiding a corpse, theft of property, and operating a motor vehicle without the owner's consent. The 34-page document reading, quote, "The killing of his parents appeared to be an effort to obtain the financial means and autonomy necessary to carry out his plan." An FBI review of documents discovered by state police include a manifesto in which they say Kasap calls for the assassination of President Trump to, quote, "foment a political revolution in the United States and, quote, save the white race from Jewish-controlled politicians." According to the warrant, Kasap allegedly studied an image with, quote, "directions on how to extend the range of an attack by drone and ways to avoid detection. The instructions provide direction to use a small dropper to drop an explosive Molotov cocktail or very strong topical poison." Federal authorities have yet to formally charge Kasap. The suspect, currently held on $1 million bond in Waukesha County Jail, is set for a May 7th arraignment relating to the state charges. The ladies of the Blue Origin space crew back safely on Earth after a brief, and we do mean brief, trip to space. The all-female crew, including Blue Origin founder Jeff Bezos' fiancée, Lauren Sanchez, pop star Katy Perry, TV host Gayle King, film producer Carrie Ann Flynn, civil rights activist Amanda Wynn, and NASA rocket scientist Aisha Bowe, blasting into space in a round trip totaling 10 minutes and 21 seconds. The New Shepard rocket spending about 3 minutes just beyond the Earth's atmosphere. The group lauded by journalists covering the event for Blue Origin, who sounded almost like they were watching an Apollo mission.
2 days, becoming a crew, becoming a team.
After you go through an experience like this, it's more than a team. It's almost like a family.
That intensive training consisted of learning how to enter and exit the vessel, buckle their seatbelts, and talk to mission control. Katy Perry and Gayle King kissing the ground upon their return. Jeff Bezos swooped up Lauren Sanchez like she was just back from a trip to Iraq. Miss Sanchez offered this profundity just back from her flight.
Earth looked it was so quiet. It was just quiet. And
Is it what you expected?
No.
Better?
Yeah. I don't think you can describe it. Because, you know what I was saying? It was like quiet, but then also really alive. And you look at it and you're like, we're all in this together.
Super quiet, but also really alive. And that'll do it for your AM update. I'm Megyn Kelly. Join me back here for the Megyn Kelly Show, live on SiriusXM Triumph Channel 111 at noon East, on youtube.com/Megyn Kelly, and on all podcast platforms.